Happy freaking Wednesday, everybody. And more importantly, happy almost New Year's. Is it corny to start saying Happy New Year's, right before New Year's? Is it appropriate to say it afterwards? Are you corny if you say Merry Christmas a day early or 2 days early? I gotta know. I need your guys' help because I used to think it was appropriate, but I've heard some conflicting stories. So help a brother out here. Let me know. And shout out to those of you who are already in the chat. Shout out to my man Top Dog, channel mod, channel member, urban legend. Top Dog, we appreciate you. Thanks for all that you do. Happy New Year's to you, my man. And he says, the last live sounds rather ominous. Dun, dun, dun. It is the last live. It's the last live that I'm doing in 2023. But 2024 is right around the corner. So that's going to be exciting. Shout out to Gone Haywire. He says, nice Chavez. I think he was talking about the Chavez on the desk in the waiting screen. Yeah, I sold that one. Kind of wish that I hadn't. But it wasn't getting enough carry time. And I knew that a knife that good had no business, like zero business, sitting on my desk doing nada. So I'm glad that whoever got it got a fantastic knife. I'm sure that they're going to rock it. Shout out to Todd Carr, channel member in the house. Todd says, listening in and lurking until Nees is done. Yeah, I see you. Todd is a moderator in the Nees live. Always doing the most, Todd Carr, in the knife community. Good to see it. Thank you for tuning in regardless. I know it can be difficult, but let's be honest. This has got to be at least as entertaining, right? I mean, will I wear a hat? Will I not wear a hat? Find out next. Top Dog says, Neves who? Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Greg Vanderlip in the house, another channel member. Good to see you, Greg. Welcome in, brother. We got Craig Vincent, another channel member. Chef Rocky, another urban legend, as well as a channel member in the house. Welcome in, Chef Rocky. Yeah, guys. Crazy. It's crazy. So I reached out to, I'll let you guys know right now. And I want your opinion. I want the opinion of the diehards that follow the channel, which is you guys. I mean, you're here. But I want the opinion because I reached out to Jared Neves last week. It was shortly before Christmas. And I said, hey, man, I'd be interested in interviewing you because Jared Neves has a lot of really great stories, but his story is really, really unique and entertaining. And I want to do a series on the people behind the knife YouTubes, the people behind the scenes, because just like knives have some really interesting stories, people have more interesting stories, and I'd love to interview them. That's kind of something that I'd really like to do. So I reached out to him and I said, Jared, would you be open to this? And he said, name a time, I'm there. So it's going to happen. I am going to interview Neves Knives. So now the only question left is, do I do it live? Do I do the interview live, or do I record it as a standalone episode? I'm not afraid to do live interviews. I love live interviews. I love including the chat. I also have a deep passion for editing videos and making them. Not everything has to be cinematic, but I would love to also have a standalone video that was well edited, interview style. I could do cut scenes, cut in and out of different clips, there's a lot that I could do if we didn't do a live stream for the interview. But if I do that, then it kind of cuts out the audience, which is why I'm here asking you, what do you think? Should I interview Nees live? Or should I do it as a standalone episode? Which would you rather watch? You're the audience. Let me know. Shout out to MKingM87. He says, first time viewing your live? Brother, thank you for joining in.
Oh, yeah.
We have fun here, and occasionally we have cookies. Unless I eat them all. Which is probably why I need to go to the gym shortly after the live tonight. But you know what? I'm getting a little off topic. I'm kind of curious, what did you carry today? And more importantly, did you get a knife for Christmas? I did not get a knife. I think my friends and family are like, don't get Kelly a knife. He has too many of them. So chances are that if you got a knife, let me know what it was. I didn't get a knife, but I did get a really cool automatic watch, which I am super stoked about. I actually really like this watch. I have a thing for automatic watches. I love the idea of not having a quartz movement in the watch. You know, it's a staple in my EDC. I always have my watch on. Sometimes it's not appropriate to bring my knife with me wherever I go, but I can always bring a watch, I think, unless I'm going through airport security. But what did you get for Christmas? Did you get a knife? If so, what was the haul? Hey, shout out to Dwayne Letterman joining in as well. Top Dog says, better record it. No telling what Nees is going to say. Hey, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Jared Nees is one of the most solid people that I know in the knife community. I'm not worried about it. If he wouldn't say it on his live stream, chances are he wouldn't say it on mine. Let's see. Did I say hi to Dwayne Letterman? Hey, Dwayne, welcome in, man. Good to see you. Thank you for being a channel member.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, guys, as far as what I carried today. So I busted it out, a knife that I would have a very hard time selling. And that is my Strider AR 0.75 or AR 3/4, whatever you want to call it. I love this knife, man. Normally it sits in my display case. And then I look at it, I'm like, I just want to carry that knife. It's a big, beefy knife. But I've broken it in. As you can see, I can do a reverse flick on it, which is not easy on this knife because right out of the box, the action is not great. But now, yeah, just breaks right in. Love this knife. So I carried that. I also carried this is, oh man, this light right here. This is the Nightcore EDC 33 with the lumen shield, 4,000 lumens, you know, the power of the sun gods beaming down on you. And I'm going to make a follow-up video on this light. I'm going to make a follow-up video because I did not expect my video on this, my regular review, to blow up. I had no idea, but it did. I mean, at least as far as my channel is concerned. For it to get, you know, almost 8,000 views in the first week is a lot for my channel. Typically, I might see, you know, 500, 1,500, 2,000. They don't typically get that kind of views until, you know, it's been out for a minute. But people have been resonating with this light. However, there's a lot of people that are like, you can't use a flashlight for self-defense. If it doesn't have strobe, it's not self-defense. This has 4,000 lumens, and it has a feature called Lumen Shield, which is going to give you 40,000 candela. If you shine this at someone, I don't care if it's strobing or not, and you hit them in the eyes with this, they're blind. They're not going to be able to see anything. And so I think I'm going to do a video where I do some research beforehand and I talk about the tactical applications of a flashlight. for self-defense, for those who are not fortunate enough to be able to conceal carry. Maybe you can't carry a knife. Maybe you are heavily limited, like unfortunately our brothers and sisters in Canada. You want to think that our knife laws in the US are oppressive. Man, Canada has they've got some strict laws. So I think that it's a topic worth talking about, because so many people in my review video said, well, because it doesn't have a strobe, you can't use it for self-defense. And honestly, that's just, well, it's just wrong. So I'm going to catch up with the chat. If you're new here, I do tend to ramble. That's what I do. I go off on tangents, but I try to keep it copacetic. I try to stay on topic with the knife stuff. Hey, shout out to Donald Milinkovich.
Certified badass.
Thanks for being a channel member, my man. Welcome in. All right. Let's see. Greg Vanderlip says, I got one t-shirt from wife and other half of Norco script this morning and t-shirt. Let me know how fat I've gotten. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. Oh, man. He said it was a pretty great holiday. Right on, man. Craig says, there's no wrong answer. Do what you do best. If production is your strength, you'll do great. Live is also something both of you do well. We'll be there either way. Hell yeah. Thanks, man. I could go either way on it. Right now, I just need to get Jared a time. I just need to figure out if am I going to do it live, or are we doing it live? I might have to quote Bill O'Reilly. If you know, you know. Hey, welcome into James Alton, another channel member. Thanks for being a channel member, James. Welcome in.
Oh, yeah.
Top Dog says, I'm falling in love with the EDC 33. Dude, me too. Such a solid light. Like, I'll say this. Is it, like, it doesn't have, like, there's something about Olight, for example, where their fit and finish is so clean. The way that they execute is so good. But in no world is this light outperforming the Nitecore EDC 33. There's not a universe where that happens. There is one thing. There's one thing that the Olight Baton series does better than the Nitecore EDC 33, and that is strobe. That's it. And yeah, they have a magnetic tail cap. But then again, this also isn't classified as a tactical light, but even if I were to compare it to my Olight Warrior Mini 3, the performance that you get out of this one is so damn good. And what kills me is people when they say, well, you can't, like, it's not going to be as effective as a strobe light. I'm not going to tell you to buy one of these and shine it in your eyes with the lumen shield, because that would be irresponsible. I also definitely didn't do it myself, because obviously I'm not blind. But if you were to, you'd probably redact that statement. Just going to put that out there. M King M87 said, I got a Nafslander 2, a Lulu, the CJRB Mini Pyrite, Victorinox, Alox Bantam, and Olight Warrior Nano, all from my wife. Now I'm looking for a new 5th pocket knife. Damn.
Oh, yeah.
That's one hell of a haul. You gave your wife the whole Christmas list, didn't you? You said, fill it up, baby. Man, that's awesome. That's a great Christmas haul, man. Congrats. I've never tried a Nafslander or a Lulu, or the CJRB Mini Pyrite, although I have checked out many Pyrites. Olight Warrior Nano, phenomenal, small miniature light. Great Christmas for you. Congratulations. Hey, shout out to my man Matt Russell in the house. What's up? Channel member, channel moderator, legend. Man, we got so many legends in the house today. If you keep doing this, you might become a myth. What's better, to be a myth or a legend? I think people question myths more than legends. I don't know. Wordplay and stuff. Hey, shout out to Ian Coates, channel moderator. Thanks for joining in, Ian. Happy holidays, my friend. Ginger Fisher 75, another channel member joining in as well. Thank you for being a channel member, Ginger Fisher.
Certified badass.
All right. James Alton says, I always grab my old Streamlight ProTac 1L, even with newer lights. You know, I haven't tried out Streamlight yet. I haven't spent a whole lot of money on flashlights this last year because the companies are reaching out to me, and there have been a couple that there's been some that I just didn't respond to. One that I'm not super stoked on their lights, so I'm not really looking towards doing more collaborations with them. It's hard for me to want to put in the work to review something if I don't like it, or if there isn't something there that I'm interested in talking about. So I'm trying to become more specific about when I do flashlight content, because this is primarily a knife channel, but when I get a light like this that I really like, I want to talk about it. So I'm going to be more discerning in 2024. Hey, shout out to Pretty Fly for a Knife Guy, another channel member joining in. Good to see you, my man. And then we've got Paper Tiger joining in as well. Welcome in, brother. Good to see you. Top Dog says, Streamlight is a solid flashlight, but way overpriced. See, I don't know enough about flashlights to say it is or it isn't, because I'm a flashlight noob, but they keep sending me these lights. So I guess they want me to continue giving my opinion on them. I don't know. Does it work well? Does it illuminate? Is it good? I'll give you the opinion of someone that doesn't know a whole lot, because that's me. When it comes to flashlights, I have to do a lot of research on those videos. They're not easy videos to make because I don't have a lot of that information like I do with knives. Like, I can pick up a knife and I've got a wealth of information I can draw on because I've already reviewed hundreds of knives. With flashlights, that's not the case because I've only checked out a handful in this EDC scene. Yeah. All right. Hey, shout out to Jay Course. Get in, another channel member joining in. Let's see. Hey, Bangkok Mark joining in as well. Thailand in the house.
This is Sparta!
That one's for you, Mark. Thanks for joining us, brother. Thank you. What time is it in Thailand? What are you I'm always curious because I know that the majority of people that join in are in the US, but we've also got a few people in Canada. I've seen some people in South America. I know that Mark's in Thailand. That's crazy. If you're not in the US, where are you tuning in from? I'd be very interested to find out. All right. So, I figured, you know what? I haven't checked out to see what's going on at some of these websites recently. I've like, December has been a stressful month because it's like all of the knife makers and manufacturers and designers got together and they said, you know what we should do? Let's blitz the market in December and just release everything. Release the Kraken. I'm talking like there is knives that people fight each other over in the checkout line on these websites to get, and they're just hanging out available because everyone got blasted by all the options and opportunities. And like I watched it happen beginning of the month. You know, people got paid, they had money. They're like, well, you know, I already bought the Christmas presents, so I can afford this. And then another big drop. And they're like, well, I don't know when I'm going to have another chance. And they got this. And then slowly they just got, they just ran out of money. And now we've got Sabenzas sitting. I saw Hinderer XM18s available for like weeks. knives that should not be readily available were readily available. So in some aspects it was nice, but for a lot of people are just financially like tired. Oh my goodness. Bluminati Ninja coming in with the 10 gifted memberships. Stop it, man. You're too kind, brother. You're too kind. And shout out to all the new connoisseurs and collectors of all things sharp and shiny. Welcome in existing channel members. Welcome in the new members as well. Some of you are returning members as well. That's pretty cool. Bluminati Ninja, one of the most generous people in these live streams. I don't know how you do it, man, but I definitely appreciate your generosity. Thank you. Top Dog says, boys and girls, we are having a good time. Please don't forget to hit that like button.
This is Sparta!
Spartan kick the like button. Do it now. Or, you know, when you feel like it. And if you don't like to chat and you're just hanging out in the background, pop into the chat, post your favorite emoji. Why not? Jay Korskinen says, the Berg Blades button barber this Friday. This is what I'm talking about. So many knives released this month. And you know what? I get it. It's competition. But I just want them to sit down with each other and be like, we're all going to release knives, but like, do we really, really, really want to make people decide whether or not they're going to pay their light bill or just eat top ramen this month? Like, can they have a round table? Can they be like, you know what, Bob, you release your popular knife. How about you release it like during a dead zone? Like, I don't know, July. You know, maybe they can rock, paper, scissors and figure out who's going to do December, because this year was crazy. And I had my finger on the pulse last year in December, and it wasn't nearly this crowded, but there were so many releases. It was insane. Absolute insanity. But yeah, so I've been like, I boycotted looking at these websites. I'm like, no more. I cannot look at this today. And usually I try to keep my finger on the pulse so that I can, you know, let you guys know when there's a good sale going on or something that's hard to get drops. That's something that I do. I'll post on the channel community. But in this case, I've just been away. So let's see what's new at White Mountain Knives. Look, according to this, they have Chris Reeves knives in stock. That's crazy, because typically if you look at Chris Reeves' website, the lead time on their knives are like 4 or 5 years out. And that is not a joke. That is the truth. What I want to know is why. Okay. So I was going to say, why is this Sebenza going for $750 on White Mountain Knives? I'll tell you why. Because there's so many discount codes available that if he doesn't price it a bit higher than what he should, he'll probably not make a whole lot of money. $750 I feel like is a bit much. Let's see. If I was to go to Blade Ops, it's another site that I know carries Chris Reeves knives. Let's price check White Mountain Knives. And I don't like normally doing this, but I just feel like that price is including a discount somewhere. Sebenza. Would you look at that? You can get a Chris Reeves large Sebenza 31 with Magna Cut, $600. If you want it, and this one will cost you $31. Now, I know that it has the Macassar ebony inlay. What's this one? Okay, so that's just black canvas inlay. Do we have a black canvas inlay that we can compare? Yeah, here we go. That's too much. I don't care that you're taking $75 off. He is definitely pricing, White Mountain Knives is definitely pricing with that discount in mind. I get it. It does make me not want to tell people to buy a Sebenza from White Mountain Knives. Look, but I get it. He does great sales all year long. He had this Kubi sale going on where you could stack channel discounts with the sale, and you got like 35% off. Bananas, absolutely bananas. So it's not like everything on White Mountain Knives is overpriced. I have a feeling it's just on the ones where you really can't afford to offer it at MSRP or at manufacturer advertised pricing and do the discount. So there is that. But yeah, if it was me and I was looking for a Sebenza, I would go on over to Blade Ops. That's a Inkosi. What am I doing? It's not even a Sebenza. There we go. Sebenza, $600. That's more like it. That's actually a beautiful one with the Tanso. Yeah. So yeah, you want a Sebenza, go to Blade Ops. Mr. Prosthetic says $700 at White Mountain is $630 with no tax and shipping. That is a very good point. That is something that you don't have to worry about with White Mountain Knives, is that you don't pay shipping and you don't pay taxes. So that is definitely a good point, and that is good. That's a good thing to consider as well. However, they're not the only site that doesn't do taxes, and a lot of sites do free shipping. I wonder, can you get free shipping on Blade Ops? I should probably know this. Nah. We'll look into it later. Good point, Mr. Prosthetic. Thank you for pointing that out. Bangkok Mark says, Rollshambo, I hear you. I bought 9 knives this month. Had to stop checking the sales. You cut yourself off. You have to. You have to be like, you know what? Enough is enough. There's always next year. And the good news is that next year is right around the corner. Be responsible. Pretty Fly says, the Chavez Razor is way more expensive. Not an auto, though. Hey, welcome into Roman M. Good to see you, man. And Rob's Nerdy Knives making an appearance. Good to see Rob. If you guys haven't done so yet, check out Rob's channel. Really, really cool channel. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't done so yet. All right. You know, a website that has been carrying some cool stuff lately? eKnives. eKnives has been carrying some cool stuff. And where is it? There it is. I'm still getting used to their website. They do a lot of American made here, like Medford's, Chris Reeves, Microtech, benchmade. I don't know how you can afford all this inventory. Like, for example, Medford Infractions. These are not very commonly found on other websites. Those are cool. One of these days, I need to review a Medford Infraction. So cool. So freaking cool. Oh, where is it? Hey, look, a large Sebenza for $500. There's no inlay on this one. They've got Guardian Tactical. Look, an Amphibian. These have not been out that long. These Microtech amphibians have not been out very long. And now you can find one readily available. Like, this is what I'm talking about. December has been absolutely nuts. EDC Richard Cranium says, why would anyone buy a $600 knife? It's like getting a high-end escort for the night, and then you can get the crackhead down the street for $5. Never mind, I answered my own question. We went down that road together. I'll say this, because I've thought about this question a lot. I've thought about You know, why do people spend what they spend on knives? And I think that for a lot of people, it's a journey. You know, if you just need a tool, chances are you're not spending all your time. You're not spending a lot of time on YouTube in the knife community, you know, checking in. You know, you're going to go to Walmart, you're going to buy your Kershaw, you're going to buy your Spyderco Tenacious or your CRKT, whatever, and that'll get the job done. If you just need a knife to get the job done, then absolutely not. However, when you start going down the rabbit hole and you start getting into the community and you hear about these knives and you hear the stories behind them, the excitement, it can become intoxicating, really, and addictive, because you start to look at more than just what can the knife do for you. It's also more interesting to want to experience that. And for some people, it's collecting. For some people, it's they get knives to use, to carry. Some people just like accessorizing. Like, I hate to break it to you, man, but ladies have been doing this for a long time with purses and shoes. And, you know, why do a pair of women's shoes cost, you know, $2,000? I don't know. You're telling me that they can't go buy a set of Crocs? But this is kind of what people do when they become enthusiasts. They start going down the rabbit hole. And when you do that, ultimately, you will, in fact, run into higher and higher and higher priced items in that hobby. Rob's Nerdy Knives says, I just paid off 4 Sezzles and Afterpay, 3 PayPal overtimes. Does that mean more knives? Thank you, Rollshambo. Congrats, Rob. Craig Vincent says, I bought way too many knives in the past week. I don't want to see any more knife sales, at least for another week. I hear you, man. Hey, shout out to Neil McKenzie and Byron Kennedy joining in as well. You got the good old boys in the house. Good to see you, fellas. Thank you for joining in. Bangkok Mark says, Rollshambo EDC knives are the jewelry I buy for myself. Hey, call it like it is, man. Like, for me, I have a thing where I don't buy knives purely for collecting. If I own it, I will carry it. And if I get to the point where I'm just not carrying the knife either because I have too many or because I'm not interested in it anymore, that's when I'm going to sell it. I might give it away. But I am doing this thing where I'm trying to keep my knife collection small in 2024. When I say small, non-knife people will scoff because I think small is, you know, below 50. And it sounds ridiculous saying that. Who needs 50 knives? Who needs more than, realistically, who needs more than 10? One of the benefits, because that question gets asked a lot in this community, is why do we need? You don't need, okay? If you're in this hobby, you're in it because you enjoy it, not because you need it. But one of the benefits of having so many knives is that you do have less wear and tear on those knives, which means that they stay nicer for longer. They stay in better shape for longer. You get to experience something new every day if you want. So there is some credence there. And then, of course, because the knife stayed in better condition, later, if you lose interest, you can turn around and sell it and get some of your money back. I'm not going to call it an investment because for most knives, it's not an investment unless you're in the really high-end customs or rare ones like, your Oz Roosevelt or your Koenig areas. But having that many allows you to break up your carry. And then if you lose interest later on, you can turn around and sell it and recoup some of your money. Shout out to B Devious. He says, just ordered the Brian Brown Raptor Arctic Storm. They have 3 variations. Regular price is $375 and on sale for $270. Yeah, I definitely sezzled. Wait, I'm getting my sound effects mixed up. Congratulations, man. That is a great pickup. I'm excited for you. Mr. Prosthetic says, that damn hype. It's how I ended up with the stitch when I'd much rather spend $300 on a giant block of titanium and unusable blade like a Max Ace PMP or Midgards. Oh man. You know, the stitch is such a cool knife. I was about to reach for mine in my display case, and then I realized that I have review boxes on top of my display case. I'm glad that you can't see the rest of my office area because it's a mess. Bangkok Mark says, yeah, when I stop carrying the less expensive knives for a long time, I give it away to a friend or a relative trying to get them interested in knives, and I sell the expensive ones later. Nice, man. You know, I think it's so important that we spend the time to not just enjoy the hobby ourselves, but to spread that joy, because there's a lot of fun to be had. It's great having a community online, but it's also great having a community locally, having someone you can talk to about knives. I gifted a knife to a coworker of mine who, you know, he carried knives. He's a big outdoors guy, hunting, fishing, so on and so forth. He carried knives, but he wasn't really like into the knives. And then I gave him a Spyderco, and I said, you can't be in my space showing me this $20 Gerber and not understand, you know, what S35 VN is. So I gifted him a Spyderco, and he was hooked. Hook, line, and sinker. And the next thing I know, he's got like 6 or 7 Spydercos. He's looking at all of these other knives, and he's asking me about it all the time. That's what I'm saying. Like, instead of gatekeeping the knowledge, instead of being like, well, you know, like, you don't have this in my collection, blah, blah, blah. Don't gatekeep. Open the gates. Bring people in. There's more than enough room for everybody, and occasionally we do have cookies. Just never on the live because they don't make it this far. Craig Vincent says, I buy so many knives because I'm new to knives, and every knife is a new experience. I don't keep everyone. A lot of them I turn over quickly because I just wanted to check it out. Except Cold Steel. Yeah, Cold Steel does great work. I don't feel like they get as much credit as they deserve, but I also at the same time feel like sometimes they get too much credit. I'm going to let that marinate. Gone Haywire says, the more one spends on a stitch, the more ugly and useless they are. Are you talking about like the Borka Blades custom stitches? I've seen some pretty interesting ones. What I can't believe is just how expensive those Borka customs are. You know, like you can get a truly premium custom knife for a couple grand if you want a really, really badass custom. But those Borka blades, like some of them are ridiculous. Let's see. I bet you E-Knives has one. See if I can spell Borka. Borka Blades Stitch. All right. Of course they do. This is what I'm talking about. So this is a Borka Blade Stitch, and this knife is, in my opinion, it's gorgeous. Okay. I like that. I'm not huge into the skulls, but that is all done really, really well. You know, when you're talking about handmade knives, that is incredible work. But would I pay $10,500 for it? No, I would not. But that's what I'm talking about. Like that is gorgeous as far as the design lines go. I think that looks great. Especially knowing that the pattern, like that the engravings were all done by hand too. Like that's crazy, man. A DLC coated blade, like Vegas forged sand mile, titanium DLC coated backspacer. Is that mirror polished? I don't know, but I know that it looks fantastic. But that's not the only place. Like if you just search for, actually, I wonder, do my friends over at Blade Ops have one? No, I want to search. Let me search. Okay. Borka stitch. Nope, they don't have a stitch. What? Did I mean books? No. I searched for Borka stitch. What about... Oh, you know what? I bet NC Blade probably has one. I'm looking for the ridiculous. Show me ridiculous. Borka stitch. I mean, that looks like the production version. Yeah, production. Here we go. Here's a custom. So this is a very well toned down custom. It's the custom Cosmic stitch with the compound grind. And he wants $4,420. Like, I get it. It has a compound grind. It's different than the regular grind on your... Do they have a regular custom? I don't know. That's just a lot. Why do they demand such a high price tag? I'm still trying to figure that out. Here's another one. That is some crazy engraving. Look at that. Also with the compound grind. Like, the level of custom work, it is really good. And if you buy it from NC Blade, you could save $1,800 and get it for the mere price of $7,280. I can't keep looking at these. I can't. Gone Haywire says, yeah, that one's cool. I'm talking about the stupid blades ones. Do you mean like the one that Metal Complex got where it has that ridge going down like the middle of the blade profile? Is that the one? Hey, shout out to John Blackman, says, I got 12 Spyderco knives. You can never have too many Spydercos. I mean, maybe. No, you can't. You can't. John, thank you for being a channel member. We definitely appreciate you. Hey, shout out to Dopey joining in as well. Good to see you. He says, I just sent a knife and a few flashlights, a hank and a coin to a friend's granddaughter. She's gonna be a knife addict like all of us. Hey, you know what? It's one of those things where, like, you know, before I started really getting into the hobby, I liked knives for a very long time. I was always enamored by my father's knives when I was like 7-8 years old, and you know, I did some wildland firefighting I was gonna say in my younger years. I'm only 33, but when I was like 18, doing wildland firefighting, yeah, carried a knife a lot. It was a assisted out the side Warncliffe Kershaw. I have no idea what it was called, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So yeah, I think that a lot of people that are really into this hobby have stories like that, where they were always interested in knives, and then they finally found out that there was in fact an online community just for them. B Devious says, Mini Arius or Rosie. Well, if I had my druthers, I'd probably go with the Rosie over a Mini Arius. Now, that said, if we're talking a full-size Arius that's DLC coded, I would rather have that than a Rosie. But if it's Mini Rosie versus, Mini Arius versus Rosie, I would go with the Rosie. Personal preference. Yeah, Gone Haywire says the stitches go up to 10K. They do. They're crazy, man. Mr. Prosthetic says it's okay to love Cold Steel and Spydercos, for example, at the same time. You're right. You don't have to pick just one. Absolutely. Pretty Fly says someone needs to get a Lilo and Stitch mod on a Stitch. Yeah. I like that idea. That'd be pretty cool. B Devious says, everybody don't forget to hit the like button.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that every time you watch a Rollshambo live and you don't hit the like button, a knife is born with a weak detent? So I guess if you support weak D10s, don't hit the like button. But yeah. Okay. So Gone Haywire says the Stitch artist name starts with an M, like Mignaro or something. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really looked into the microtech, the Borka stitches, because they're so expensive. Like they're not in my realm of reality. Something drastic would have to happen for that to become a reality. But who knows? For those of you who aren't aware, my goal for the channel is 100,000 subscribers. And right now we are inching closer to 6,000, which is actually way better than I thought we were going to do this year. And the channel is doing well. But eventually my goal is 100,000 subscribers. So when I get there, if I get there, that'll mean the channel is doing really well. And who knows, maybe at that point in time, I could make something like that happen. It's not feasible yet. Matt Russell says, I've developed quite the Spyderco addiction myself, trying real hard not to buy a couple on NAF sale right now. Which ones? Which ones, man? I make a promise to myself. I do not buy two of the same knife. There are people with Spyderco PM2 collections where they have 50 paramilitary 2s, like every single sprint run ever made of the paramilitary 2, and they have it. And I can't believe how many of the same knife some people are willing to buy. And Spyderco's like, what if we released one with Oz 10A? Would you buy that one? If they pull that, don't buy it. Although if they did, I'm sure it'd still be really good Oz 10. Mark says, Economics 101, price is what people will pay. If they won't pay it, that's how we get sale prices. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. When I say that I think a knife is too expensive, I'm talking about for me. In my opinion, for me, is it too expensive? $7,200 on a knife. Is it too expensive? For me, absolutely too expensive. For some people, they're like, yeah, you know what? Why not? It's a Tuesday. Let's buy a $7,200 knife. For those of you who can do that, just know that I am jealous. Blue Minati Ninja with another 5 memberships. Yeah.
This is Sparta!
I'm losing my voice over here. Blue Minati Ninja, thank you, man. Thank you. So kind. So kind. Another round of applause for Blue Minati Ninja, man. Tori Casey says they just started making the Mannix lightweight with torque screws before they were pinned and didn't come apart. The scales are coming. Nice. Jay Korskinen said, I'm good for Spidey's, Yojimbo, Smock, Mannix 2, Shaman, all titaniumed out, and I am done for now. Here's the thing. When it comes to Spyderco specifically, never say those two words. Do not say, I'm done. Because right as you say those words, you will start finding other Spydercos that will eventually just creep into your collection. I bought the Mannix 2 a couple years ago, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm good on Spydercos. I'm done. And I said that publicly on social media. I said, I got the best one. I'm done. I wasn't done. Not even close. Never say that you're done. Do yourself a favor. If you're actually done, just don't voice it out loud. Then the universe won't have to make fun of you. Alrighty. Mr. Prosthetic says it's okay to love Cold Steel Oz 10A and Spyderco S30V at the same time. I don't love Cold Steel's Oz 10. I don't. I'm not saying that it's a bad steel, because it's not. It's not a bad steel. It's just not a steel that I personally like, okay? It bothers me that they are selling the Mayhem, the Cold Steel Mayhem, for $250 with Oz 10. And yeah, I know there was a couple exclusives that were released with S35, but I think that they should have done the whole lineup in S35. That would have been the way to go. S35 is totally tough enough for a knife that big. That's what I'm disappointed in. Where's the regular S35 or S45 or LMAX Mayhem? Is that a lot of LMAX? Probably. Craig says, whoops, I have 8 versions of the Voyager and 380 10s. Too many, one for each hand and then one for a friend. I don't think that's too many. Matt Russell says, a Spyderco Silverax and Ikuchi. Both are knives that I have not had a chance to check out yet, but I want to. All right. Tori Casey says, in Vegas, headed down to the cigar bar for some fine bourbon and cigar, thinking Monte Cristo, but we'll let you know. I want to be cool like Tori one of these days. Show up on the scene with a Monte Cristo, some bourbon, the gentleman life. That's how you know. That is how you know. Rob's Nerdy Knife says, yeah, I wouldn't buy a second pair of 3. And here I am with 2 pair of 3s with both amazing custom titanium scales that make them 3 times as expensive. I do that too. It's hard. It's hard because there's so many options for Spydercos, and you don't have to turn to like a company that makes things overseas, because there's plenty of American made options. In case you're watching in the background and you're like, American made modifications for Spydercos, where do I go to find? Check this out. Sharp Dress Knives. Sharp Dress Knives does scales, and they're American made. He hand finishes these scales, and the level of precision is phenomenal. It is top notch. The bee's knees. Are they cheap? No. But you know what they say? Good work ain't cheap, and cheap work ain't good. And he does good work. I don't think the prices are too outlandish considering what you get. You can get micarta, you can get carbon fiber, fat carbon fiber. Oh my goodness. Sharp Dress Knives, an absolute legend. So if you didn't know this and you want to modify your Spyderco, whether it's a PM2 or a Shaman, he's got a lot of options. He also does some Hinderer scales too, like the XM18 3.5 inch skinny. Yeah, check that out. Now, I haven't seen any titanium scales from him, but I have seen a lot of fat carbon. He's even got scales for Spydercos like the Gale Bradley 2, and for ZTs, the Spyderco Smock. All right. The Dark Matter Red, by the way, is really good. Look at that. Is it $140 for handle scales? Yeah. But they are handmade, hand finished to precise measurements here in the United States. You do not have to take an American made knife and replace parts with parts made in other countries. I think that that's pretty damn cool. Now, I wouldn't put these scales on my smock, but that's because I have custom scales from Kevin's smock. But this is just an idea. If you are looking to modify your Spyderco, there are so many avenues you can take to make it whatever you want. Dopey says, my work is neither good or cheap. Hey, shout out to Gator Aaron. We got another legend in the house. Channel member, channel moderator. Gator Aaron, welcome in, man, to the very last live of 2023. And then we're back at it in 2024. And By the way, guys, I'm excited. We're going to be doing 2 live streams a week in 2024. One on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. because I've done it so many times. Like I'd feel weird about changing my Wednesday schedule. But moving on into 2024, we will also be including a weekend live stream. I'm excited about that, and I'll be releasing more information as we get into January. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Gator Aaron says S45 for sure. Yeah. S45. Love it. Underrated steel. Dopey says Met & Boss makes some amazing Spyderco benchmade and hinderer scales. Yeah. Met & Boss does good work. I've handled some of his work. I just haven't bought it. You know who else does good American-made work? There's actually quite a lot. You can go to Rock Scale Design. Love what they're doing over here at Rock Scale. It's pretty dang cool. And they've got a lot of options for all the popular knives, you know, like your Benchmade Bug Out, your Benchmade Bailout, the Mannix 2XL, the Mannix, the Shaman, the Paramilitary 2. Some really cool work. And every now and then they'll do some limited runs. As you can see, all the limited runs are sold out, but you can get them in these crazy different anno colors and yeah. Rock Scale Design, so good. The one that I really want to check out one of these days is, where is it? I'm looking for the Osborne, the 940 scales. That's the 945. Here we go. So check this out. Yes, it's $210, but check out the contouring on these scales. That's why it's $210. That's great. The levels of detail and precision that you need to make it work on this knife. And a backspacer. Love the work that they're doing at Rock Scale. You could also get the flat, slab style handle scales too, if that's your thing. Something that I really like is that they do this this aluminum blasting, which is scratch resistant. It is wear resistant. It reduces fingerprints. It is grippy. It without being uncomfortable. Really, really cool. Really cool. Your Demcos, your Benchmades, your Spydercos. This is definitely a place if you want titanium handle scales that are USA made. I would highly recommend Rock Scale. Mr. Prosthetic says Flightanium isn't USA made. It's not. It's a USA company, but the parts are not made here in the US. So for example, Google, where are Flightanium scales made? Here's the thing. So it says that they're machined in-house in Utah, USA from quality USA made G10. A lot of Flightanium stuff is not made in the US. I do know that. So that's their G10 scales. Did they switch their manufacturing? Because I know that they were not necessarily American made for their titanium stuff. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Let's do this. All right, Lotus scales. Yep. Okay. So for example, and they're not shy about this. Check this out. On their titanium Lotus scales, country of origin, China. So they are an American made company, or they're an American company. Not all of their stuff is USA made. But if we're looking at titanium stuff, what about if we're looking at, carbon fiber, like the carbon fiber Lotus scales? What about those? Country of origin, China. Now, I don't have anything against China. What makes me feel kind of weird is taking a fully American-made knife and replacing parts with parts made in another country. Because part of the reason why you buy an American-made knife, at least in my opinion, is because you want to support the USA companies. And when you buy the knife, you do that. You are supporting them. But you take something that was made here, and then you could do whatever you want. But to me, that's weird. And I have a hard time wrapping my head around it, which is a damn shame because I really like the way that these basket weave Lotus carbon fiber scales look. I really like the depth. I think they look great. But I just can't do it. Dopey says, beware, once you get Mettenboss scales, your wallet will quickly start to hate you. Also, you may become homeless, but at least your knives will be awesome. Man, I've been doing this for about an hour because I start to lose my voice. Okay. Todd Carr says, hello again, everyone. Hey, welcome back.
Certified badass.
Welcome back, Todd Carr. Good to see you again. B. Devious says, that's disappointing with Flightanium. I have my Para 3 and Delicatized scales from Flightanium. Look, the most important thing is that you like it. As long as you like it, that's what's important. I mentioned that I am not putting Flightanium scales on my knives anymore because at least the American-made ones. Because I just feel weird about it, and because we have so many great American custom modification manufacturers. There's so many good options that are made here in the US. That's what I'm trying to say. And when I brought my head around that, I made the conscious decision. Does that mean that I'm going to hate on anybody who decides to get, Flightanium stuff? And put it on their Spyderco? No, that's just my personal preference. Hey, shout out to Josh Worth. He says, I'm okay with my carbon fiber Lotus scales. Looks nuts with my Mettenboss Zerk backspacer and Lynch clip. Right on, man. I bet that does look pretty cool. Gator Aaron says, yeah, I only did one set of the Flightanium scales before I heard of the US options. And there are so many good ones, man. I'll be the first to tell you, my crazy Para 3, those scales are initially engraved off of Flightanium titanium blank slab style scales. I didn't know that. I thought that those scales were made in the US, and while Flightanium is a US company, and while DNA lasering is located here in the United States and all the engravings done here, the blank scales themselves were not. So, a project for 2024, maybe I can bring back the Pimp My Knife series and get either rock scale or sharp dress knives or Mettenboss or someone else to partner with me. Or maybe I just go in on it myself, but I am looking at replacing the scales on my my paramilitary my Para 3. It's not a paramilitary 3, it's a Para 3. Not going to make that mistake. Everyone makes that mistake. Mark says, Rollshambo EDC, by the way, in case I have to skip before I forget, Happy New Year's. Same to everyone here. Mark, Happy New Year's in Thailand, wherever you are. I hope that your New Year's is absolutely killer. Craig Vincent says, I'm going to have to dump a lot of knives onto NAF sale to pay for the 17 knives that I bought in the last 10 days. You know what? Let's help out our man, Craig. Okay. Craig, if you would, let's do this. Put your NAF sale in the chat. Just do it. Let's see what Craig's got for sale. Let's check out his NAF sale. Because I have a feeling if I just search for Craig Vincent, it's probably not going to come up. Or will it? Can you search for users? Craig, throw up your NAF sale account on the chat. Let's see what you got. Craig says, wait, you guys are saying I can change up my knives without buying completely new knives? Fascinating. It's a side route. And it can become expensive. Gator Aaron, thank you for joining in, my friend. I hope you have a happy new year. I will see you in 2024. Until then, we're about to Spartan kick 2023 down a well.
This is Sparta!
We'll see you next time, Gator Aaron. Have a good night, man. Craig Vincent said, I sold them all already. I need to put more up. That's no worries. We'll do it next time. All right. B. Devious says Applied Weapons Technology, or AWT, is also USA made. Yes, it is. And I'm not huge on their stuff, to be honest. But I'll pull them up. I know that they're very popular. People love Applied Weapons Technology. And they do a lot of different knives too. Like they do benchmade, they do Spydercos. Let's see what they got. Wow, yeah. We can do the mini RSK scales. They do a lot of aluminum, and I don't have a problem with that. I like aluminum. They also do... Do they also do titanium? I haven't checked. Let's see. Agent series. Yeah, I believe those are aluminum. Mizmi says they have a scale swap for the lightweight PM3, which is hard to find. Did not know that. Dopey says, don't forget the OCD for EDC CMEs for Spyderco compression locks. You know, I put one, I couldn't forget because I installed one on my on one of my PM2 builds. It is nerve-wracking, and I don't know if it's necessarily worth the risk. And I say that because it seems easy, right? Just glue the thing onto the liner, but like you get one shot to get that right. And if you do not line it up perfectly, and then you're screwed. And you have to pry it off and then get out the acetone and the nail polish remover and get the glue off, and then you have to get more glue. And so if you do get an OCD for EDC CME, my suggestion is be very careful. Take a couple practice runs before you put the glue on there. Would be my suggestion, because you don't want to glue it in the wrong spot, and you have a very, very small margin for error when you place that CME on the compression lock. Josh Worth says, I have Mettenboss on my Shaman. They do nice stuff, but no liner delete from what I've seen. Mr. Prosthetic says, I don't like what they're doing with the skinny Spyderco scales. The palm filing Spyderco handles are one of my favorite features. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The one that makes sense to me is for the Mannix 2, and that is 100% a personal preference because of the little spikes. Let me show you. So, these teeth right here that stick up. Now, I don't like those. I imagine that a lot of people do because they offer more grip. But when I bear down on this, it is uncomfortable. Does it work well with gloves? Sure. Does it work well if your hands are made out of leather? And a lot of you who work with your hands exclusively are not going to have an issue with that. My hands, it's just uncomfortable. These teeth right here. So the skinny scales actually get rid of those. Also, any scales that get rid of the liner entirely. So it's not the shape of the scale that I dislike on the Mannix 2. It is specifically the teeth from the liner. Like, I don't think that that's necessary because we already have the jimping here and the jimping here and those little traction teeth right there. Like, I don't feel like we need more teeth on there right there. Fine if you have gloves on or if you got the real manly hands. Just my 2 cents. He says, yeah, man, I ground those damn hand daggers down on mine. So you know what I'm talking about. All right, guys. Buds101 says, but do you like it? The Mannix 2? Oh yeah. Fantastic knife. Do I like my Mannix 2? Yes. This was my first Spyderco. I bought this before I bought any other Spyderco. It has the strongest lock. It's one of those knives that breaks in so well, and the break-in period makes this knife very personal to you. There's certain knives that I don't really care about breaking in. Like I would be happy buying it used. And then there's certain knives where breaking it in makes it more you. That process is it's almost kind of special. For example, on the Strider AR 3/4. Yeah, the break-in process on this one is nuts. But now, like, I couldn't do this a year ago, but now I can reverse flick this without some crazy wrist action. That's satisfying. And knowing that it only got there because I carried it a lot. Same thing with this one. You know, with the Mannix, with this one, with the DLC on the blade, the action was not this good. It used to take a lot more to get it to drop completely shut. It had a lot to do with the tension on the ball cage. But now, years later, it's exactly how I wanted it, and I got it there. There's something to be said for breaking in the action on your knives. Pedro Armstrong says, howdy. Welcome in, Pedro. Bluminati Ninja heading out. Dude, thank you so much, Bluminati Ninja. Thank you for being a channel member, for gifting so much. I know that I had no idea how you do it, but we appreciate you being such a big part of the community. And we'll see you in the next year. Have a phenomenal New Year's, my friend. Craig Vincent says, I have a lightweight Mannix in my hand right now. Doesn't have that problem. I have the Brother Walkman in G10. It's pretty good. Made me want to buy a real Mannix. Yeah, no, I love the Mannix too. Absolutely fantastic knife. Do I like it more than other Spydercos? No. Just my personal opinion. I think that if you need one of the strongest knife locks that you can get on an EDC knife, the ball bearing lock it's up there with any of them. But it's not my favorite Spyderco, but it is one of my favorite Spydercos. All right, guys. Well, it's about that time. It's been a phenomenal year. I can't believe how blessed I am to have the channel grow so much, to have so many great people supporting, watching not just the regular content, but also joining in the live streams. It's because of you that I do these live streams. I initially wasn't planning on doing any live streams. I did a couple as kind of a test, and then they caught on and people started watching them more and I started doing them more. I think I got better at doing them. And now people have been asking me for more live streams, which is why we're going to add in another live stream per week in 2024. We'll be doing them every weekend and every Wednesday. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We will definitely be doing that, and I'll be releasing more information on those very soon. However, I wanted to take this minute before we end the live stream to say thank you to each and every one of you who make this hobby and this community so amazing. It's been a great year, not just for me, but also for you. And I feel like we've gone down this road together. It's one thing to be behind the camera, reviewing the knives and talking about them, and then seeing everyone's reaction and response to the content. Your comments in the comment section have been amazing. This level of support that you've shown has been absolutely amazing. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for making this my favorite hobby ever. And aside from that, I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic, amazing rest of 2023. I will catch you next year.